Attorney General's office. A van designed to carry 12 to 15 passengers, carrying as many as 30 people, most of them believed to be migrants, crashing on a Texas highway. 10 were killed, 20 others transported to hospitals.
We're going to have to investigate it to the full and make contact with the
I'm Andrew Kinsey.
A World War II veteran at the Cleveland VA Medical Center turned 100 yesterday, and they threw him a party.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for taking a day off, for reminding me that 100 years is 100 years.
Chester Lloyd served in the Army, then worked in Cleveland with at-risk children. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly, here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Create your ideal backyard with help from Menards. Lumber prices have fallen, so now is a great time to start or complete your project with the largest selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber. It offers the natural look of wood with added protection for your outdoor projects. All AC2 pressure-treated lumber is 11% off right now at Menards. Good through August 7th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
First Fridays are returning to Center Market in Wheeling this August 6th. Join us for the street party featuring Eli and the Mojo Kings performing at 8 p.m. Before the show, you can visit Center Market specialty shops and have dinner at one of our quality eateries. Meet, shop, eat, and then party with Eli and the Mojo Kings on First Friday, August 6th at the iconic Center Market in Wheeling. Sponsored by Main Street Bank, Wheeling Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the City of Wheeling.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. Sign up by August 15th for a health plan. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to the 54th National Tractor Pulling Championships Reloaded, the largest truck and tractor pull in the world with 11,000 reserved seats and 2,100 campsites. Watch pullers from across the world compete for the coveted NTPC Championship ring. Rich in history, home to hospitality. Experience the power of the pulls. August 19th, 20th, and 21st in Bowling Green, Ohio. Purchase your tickets today.
The annual Wheelin' Feelin' Chili Cook-Off is right around the corner. Join us August 7th from noon to 6 for the Ohio Valley's best chili. Stop on down at Wheeling's Heritage Port to enjoy great food, an antique car show, and live music featuring the New Age Adinas and Eli and the Mojo Kings. The Wheeling Feeling Chili Cook-Off is an International Chili Society sanctioned event, and all proceeds benefit the United Way of the Upper Ohio Valley. Saturday, August 7th at Wheeling's Heritage Port from noon to 6, rain or shine. See you there.
Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands is the perfect place to relax after a long day. Happy hour from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Get $2 off appetizers, $3 off domestic drafts, and house wine specials. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA. Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands with another steal of a deal. Get a steak burger and fries all day Monday for only $8.99. It's also Military Mondays. The Lube will take 25% off for all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Hello everyone, from the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday, mix of clouds and sunshine, a daytime high of 83, partly cloudy overnight, 63 for the low, clouds and sunshine mixing for a warmer day for your Friday, but high is in the upper 80s. Have yourself a great day everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
You're early.
Roger that.
It's Thursday.
Why even call it Thursday? Problem? We have pizza on Thursday.
Places, please. Quiet down.
Here is a complete disc jockey show with all the modern pace of today's exciting radio.
Good morning. Let's get started.
Seriously, let's go.
It's showtime.
Grab a cup of coffee or your favorite breakfast beverage and listen or watch the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe during the 100 Days of Summer.
Yeah, it's showtime. It is coffee time. Time for the first sip of coffee. Just got it poured. It's nice and hot. One more. Delightful way to start the day. Drinking out of the official Watchdog Morning Show coffee mug this morning. 7-Eleven here on a Thursday. 59 and foggy at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 61 and foggy here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 61 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. As you just heard, a mixture of sun and clouds throughout the day today. Probably a little more sun than clouds, but both of them going to be around. Mid-80s for our high today. Some scattered rain showers could be coming in this afternoon. Not a terrible day, just be prepared to live with it. What have we got coming up on the show today? Grassroots efforts to reach passage of that national voting rights bill, the one's called For the People Act, are continuing, including what a lot of people are talking about as the Manchin Compromise. Some ideas that Senator Manchin wants in this bill to modify it in a way that will make him happier. Former West Virginia delegate and Speaker Rick Staten is going to be with us today to offer some thoughts on the Manchin Compromise, and we'll get into that. As COVID cases continue to rise, mainly among the unvaccinated, but they're rising, questions linger about guidelines for back to school. What's going to happen here in a handful of weeks? Masks, remote learning, what are the guidelines going to be? It looks like the basic answer is you're on your own. But we'll talk about this with Brad McElhaney. The current Mountain State plans are kind of set, or lack of plans are kind of set. Brad will bring us up to speed on what the governor and the state school board are saying. On the fun side of life, Ron Roy is the author of a hit children's series of books called the A to Z Mysteries. I loved those kind of mystery books when I was a kid. More than 10 million copies are in print of his book. The series then served as an inspiration for a podcast produced specifically for children. It's called the A to Z Mysteries Clue Club. Sounds like something I would really have liked when I was a kid. So I wanted to learn more about this. We're going to talk to Ron Roy and the producer of his podcast about kids and books and podcasts. All that's coming up on the fun side of life today. And what's next for Andrew Cuomo? Resignation? He doesn't seem to want to do that. Impeachment? Ooh, a lot of people want to seem to do that. What about criminal charges? Haven't heard too much about that, but it's a distinct possibility. We'll delve into the Cuomo story coming up this morning as well. And Biff, I guess our top of the morning story just might be a little review of last night's weather. Severe storms rolled through the region last evening. There was some flooding. There were some power outages. Once again, Biff, it was one of those, the storm was like, boom, it was very short-lived. But it was a really intense storm, leaving behind some problems. Did you have problems where you were?
We had the power went off for like a quick second, then it came back on. Then about another couple seconds later, it went off, stayed off for a few seconds, came back on. Did that again after about the third time, and then once the power finally flicked back on, it stayed on. But that storm lasted, it was about an hour that it lasted, and I don't know if it was just the way that it was going, if it was slow moving or what, but the rain that it put down in that about an hour's worth of time, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was one of those things looking out the front door. The street was flooded, just not flood, that's a bad word to use, but just there was water gushing down the middle of our street out here. And I did see both on Facebook and then the Big Seven had some stories. I guess there were some areas, Wheeling, Bridgeport, a few other areas that were literally flooded. The streets were flooded. There was some streets in Woodsdale that I saw. Cars were having a hard time getting through. Bridgeport, actually, our ace engineer called me and goes, I'm on the way to fix some things, and I'm stuck in water in Bridgeport. So Bridgeport was sort of underwater for a while. I guess out here in Elm Grove somewhere, I saw a video on the Big Seven's website today that said Elm Grove, and it was it was heavy water, but I couldn't quite make out where it was. I guess it might have been the same area where it was a few weeks ago around the Parkview area. I'm not sure, but anyway, there was some serious flooding, power outages, some minor, some, I don't know if there's any, actually, Biff, maybe if you have a chance, you can check and see if there are any more power outages pending right now. We at the radio station must have taken a hit at the station, our downtown offices, where all of our equipment went pshoo, boop, and our chief engineer came in and got everything back up and running pretty quickly. But so it was just short-lived, you said maybe an hour. The lightning was really intense. I mean, just lighting things up like daytime. It just seems like anymore, Biff, we get these storms, and no matter how long they are, they may be short, but they're all really intense anymore,
We either get a real bad storm or a downpour. We don't get like a nice, just steady, light rain or whatever with no storms or anything. It's either storm like last night or heavy downpour. That's it. We don't get anything else.
Yep. And I think a lot of it has to do with the old climate change. We'll talk to Zach Petty about last night and what to expect. He does say scattered showers this afternoon, but I don't think we're looking at at anything like we had yesterday. So we'll find out. Zach is in less than half an hour or so to talk to us about that. All right, team. It is 7:18, 18 after the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Coming up, our top of the morning story next will be the Public Service Commission gives the go-ahead for the Mitchell Power Plant in Marshall County to stay open for the longer period of time. Remember, there were two options, one to be closing in a couple of years, one to stay open until 2040. West Virginia's PSC says it's okay to stay open for the longer period of time, but because of joint ownership of that plant, the question still remains, how long will it stay open? I'll give you a little details of that. Plus, we'll talk some COVID and look at the latest map and a few other matters. Coming up next here on the Watchdog Morning Show. It is 7:18 and 59 at the airport, 61 here at the home studios.
Hi, it's Hoppy Kirchville. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock.
Biff, can you call the transmitter and see if Jerry's note is correct? It was off last night. Okay. Joe knows it. Okay. Okay, all right, calm down. I'm not yelling at you. I just didn't know. That was the first I heard about it. Right. Yeah. Okay, not a problem. I didn't realize that. I usually check in the morning, but I didn't since it was working last night. I thought we were okay, so. Okay. Okay. All righty. Okay.
Heard in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Who wants craft beer?
Saturday, August 21st, the Mountaineer Brewfest is back at Wheeling Heritage Port, showcasing craft beers from West Virginia's finest brewers. With great food, live entertainment, and many more craft beer selections in our beer garden, it's a wild and wonderful time, and you don't want to miss out. Proceeds benefit a Special Wish Foundation. Get your tickets now at MountaineerBrewfest.com. Brought to you by Wheeling Island Hotel, Casino, Racetrack, and the UPS Store.
This guy knows so much about sports. They based the Sports Almanac from Back to the Future off of his dream journal. He's Bill DeFabio, weekdays noon to 2, on the Valley's only network dedicated to live and local talk radio, The Watchdog.
If you miss a part of the show or want to listen again, you can find conversations, interviews, and rants on our podcasts at Apple Podcasts or on WatchdogNetwork.com. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
7:22, 22 after the hour, roaming around 60. Let's call that 59 at the airport, 61 here. Let's just round it off to 60 in between. 60 degrees and foggy outside. Top of the morning this morning, the State Public Service Commission in West Virginia has given thumbs up to the long-term extension of the Mitchell Power Plant. A lot of local folks are saying that's great, round of applause. You recall that the Mitchell Power Plant, along with two other power plants in West Virginia, actually, the John Amos plant and the Mountaineer plant, had requested a rate increase or permission from the PSC to either extend their plant till 2028 to meet a certain minimum environmental regulation, and then in 2028 they would be done, the plant would be done, or until 2040, meeting more environmental regulations and costing more money. And the PSC in West Virginia yesterday said that the three West Virginia plants, John Amos, Mountaineer, and Mitchell, could operate until 2040. The extended period of time. The PSC said, among other things, that while they acknowledge that coal is a declining resource, and while they acknowledge that at some point we're going to have to be looking for alternative energy sources for electricity, I quote here from PSC Chairwoman Charlotte Lane, the Commission is very concerned about a likely shortage of electricity that the premature shutdown of the Mitchell plant would cause. It is premature to begin abandoning our traditional baseload power resources, coal, which can be upgraded to meet environmental requirements. So this all sounds good for those who want the extension of the Mitchell plant. The problem is all three of these plants are co-owned. In the case of the Mitchell plant, it is owned 50-50 by I guess Appalachian Power and Wheeling Power, a subsidiary there. So it's 50-50 of a local group and a Kentucky power company. The Kentucky Public Service Commission has declined the long-term extension and has said they will only authorize the Mitchell plant till 2028. Now, I don't know. The reporting I've been reading in the overnight hours doesn't seem to actually have it figured out. Even the state PSC acknowledged they're not sure what this really is going to mean. But West Virginia's PSC said, no, we feel it's important for the Mitchell plant to stay open until 2040. So we're going to give you permission to stay open until 2040 to make those environmental upgrades and concurrently to raise rates to meet the cost of the extended upgrades. But even the West Virginia PSC says they don't know what will happen because really they don't have the authority to authorize this on their own, and the Kentucky Power Company has already said no to the extension. So this is a story we're going to have to figure out as time goes by. And the other two plants also are co-owned. The John Amos plant in Putnam County is co-owned with Virginia Power, and Mountaineer plant in Mason County, I think also is Virginia Power. The Virginia PSC hasn't ruled on it yet, so those two plants maybe will be okay. Maybe they'll have a split decision too, so to speak. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. the Mitchell plant, and you recall the owners of the Mitchell plant had basically said, hey, whatever you tell us to do, we're going to do. It's going to cost a whole lot more to stay open until 2040. Coal is a declining source. We're going to be out of this business at some point, but you tell us what to do. State PSC, West Virginia, has said it's time to give you an extension to 2040. PSC in Kentucky, co-owner of the plant, the Kentucky Power Company, only until 2028. So, what's going to happen? I don't know. And the Kentucky order specifically forbid any construction contrary to its order. And its order was shut down in 2028. So it's going to be a pretty big deal. The state PSC here in West Virginia talked about the need to not only the concern they had about the power grid, that we need more electricity. We cannot count on alternative sources being available by 2028. So we're going to have to use traditional sources like coal. So they're concerned about electricity. And they also referenced what's it going to do to the towns and communities. I mean, that's what all the local folks have been very concerned about down in Marshall County and really the entire Upper Ohio Valley, were that plant to close. Lots of jobs, and the immediate jobs and spillover jobs would be lost. So there we go. That's kind of our top of the morning story this morning. What in the world is going to happen with the Mitchell plant? Kind of a split decision after the state PSC offered their decision yesterday. 7:27 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. We're going to talk a little bit later on about, after the break probably, we'll talk about COVID. The map now has 35 West Virginia counties no longer green. Wyoming has now joined the group of the red counties. Marshall County is still staying in red. We'll take a look at the map. We'll take a look briefly here at what state officials are saying about going back to school. Later on, Brad McElhenney will join us and will give us a more detailed look at this back-to-school plan, such as it is. And we'll see what the local school systems are kind of gearing up for. Most people I'm talking to are saying locally, they think we're going to see, unless there's a huge turnaround in this COVID situation in 2 weeks, they think we're going to see some kind of modification to our local schools, whether it's going to be masks or whether it's going to be remote learning or what have you. Now, I'm just talking about people I'm talking to. I'm not nobody in any official capacity, but most folks seem to feel with the rising COVID rate, almost exclusively among the unvaccinated, but it's getting to be it's going to be a problem for kids going back to school. So we'll talk about that coming up in a couple of minutes. Biffy, looks like as we talked about yesterday too, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 commissioners are getting together to talk about a possible merger, exactly what you had suggested yesterday.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it'll be good for West Virginia, but we'll see what happens. And again, how many more teams are going to leave the Big 12, and it's just wait and see. I mean, go day by day and see what happens, but. Yeah, it looks like Pac-12 and Big 12. Maybe they're gonna try and combine. So we'll see what we get for today.
Yeah, and it's isn't it true? It's literally a day by day story. This began almost exactly 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow is when we began to hear the first rumors about Texas and Oklahoma leaving, and then by Monday of 2 weeks ago, we began to hear. It began to be confirmed, yes, they want to leave. They're not going to extend their media rights past 2025. And then they made a request to the SEC, and then the SEC accepted it. I mean, it was literally every day. And then yesterday we talked about the rumor going around that Kansas may want to leave the Big 12. So today's rumor is, and I get this from SI.com, Big 12 and Pac-12 commissioners are going to meet and consider a potential merger of some kind. Now, don't know what it's going to be, how it's going to play out, but they are meeting to discuss merger. I don't know what you want to call it. I guess it'd be a merger, right? I don't know what you would call it. Combining somehow the Big 12 and the Pac-12, which, as you just said, Biff, and we said yesterday, and I'll repeat today, would be about as far from ideal for West Virginia as you could get. I mean, it just is not good for WVU.
The only thing it does, and it's from a money standpoint, is they would probably, I don't know how much money the Pac-12 offers, but that would be the only good thing. And again, it's from a money standpoint. They would still get a large chunk of that money staying with the Big 12 and the Pac-12 combining, as opposed to maybe one of the smaller conferences. But other than that, I mean, there's really, in my opinion, there's nothing good that comes out of this for West Virginia.
No, and I do think it opens a possibility of options. Now, the money will probably decrease a bit no matter what other conference we get to, probably. Decrease a lot if we go to the AACC, right? But, the ACC is probably a better match for us. We actually wanted to be in the WVU, wanted to be in the ACC when they went to the Big 12, but ACC said thanks, but no thanks. So, that's, there's value in that. Bring us closer to home. Big Ten is a possibility. Again, money might be a little less, but at least we would have closer to home traveling and rivalries and so on. So we'll have to see. And they say that if there were to be, who are they? Reading from SI.com. If a merger were to happen between the Big 12 and the Pac-12, it's possible that the 8 remaining Big 12 schools would stay in one division, and then the travel distance and the competition would stay pretty much the way it is now, which is still not ideal for WVU, but would stay the way it is now, and then there'd be a second division that would be more the Western Division. So it's all up in the air. That's today's story. We'll see what tomorrow brings. God knows, every day it's something different, but we will keep you informed to the extent that we can as the info kind of seeps out and trickles out. And, of course, always a lot of conversation about it coming up on Statewide Talk Line. Not Statewide Talk. Well, actually, Statewide Talk Line, too. But Statewide Sports Line with Tony Caridi every evening at 6 o'clock here on the Watchdog. So check all of that out. 7:33, 27 till the hour, 59 at the airport, 61 here at my home studios, 61 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. It is foggy. When's that fog going to burn off, and what do we get after that? We'll talk to Zach Petty about it coming up in a minute or two. And what's going to happen to Andrew Cuomo? Resignation, impeachment, criminal charges? Leave the boy alone? That's kind of what he's saying. We will talk about all of that in our political update coming up as well. We are the Watchdog Morning Show here on WKKX and WVLY.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from 7 News at WTRF, My Ohio Valley, and ABC Ohio Valley. Only on AM 1600 WKKX. The Watchdog.
Good Thursday morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffin with your 7 News headlines. We have an update this morning on the deadly rollover in Harrison County. Ohio State Highway Patrol has identified the driver as 49-year-old Joe Robinson. Authorities say Robinson crashed his semi-dump truck on Miller Station Road around 8:20 Wednesday morning. The truck slid off the left side of the highway and struck 2 trees. Robinson was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials say Robinson was wearing his seatbelt at the time of the crash. New details this morning. The Mitchell Power Plant in Marshall County will now remain operational through 2040. The Public Service Commission approved a certificate of convenience last night. This will allow AEP to make necessary improvements in order to stay up to date with environmental standards. The Commission also approved a surcharge increase. Starting September 1st, Appalachian Power customers will see roughly a 38-cent increase on their monthly bill. Youth Services System Celebrate Youth event is only hours away. It's all taking place from 9 to 1 outside Wheeling Park's White Palace. For the second year in a row, it will be a drive-through only event. Organizers tell us they have 2,000 drawstring bags to give away. Edison Local Schools is welcoming their students back with their annual back-to-school rally. It all takes place this Saturday from 3 to 7. There will be free school supplies, games, and goodies. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great day, everyone.
Automotive back.
Put you back on the road to financial success.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame wraps up the greatest enshrinement week ever with the concert event of the summer. When Brad Paisley and Leonard Skinner headline the Concert for Legends, Monday, August 9th at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton. Tickets for this one-of-a-kind concert experience are on sale now at ProFootballHof.com. Brad Paisley, I'm gonna miss her. Leonard Skinner, sharing the stage for the first time ever in Canton, Monday, August 9th. Get your tickets at ProFootballHof.com.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. Sign up by August 15th for a health plan. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to the 54th National Tractor Pulling Championships Reloaded, the largest truck and tractor pull in the world with 11,000 reserved seats and 2,100 campsites. Watch pullers from across the world compete for the coveted NTPC Championship ring. Rich in history, home to hospitality. Experience the power of the pulls. August 19th, 20th, and 21st in Bowling Green, Ohio. Purchase your tickets today.
West Virginia Outdoors is the Mountain State's only hook and bullet radio show, dedicated to the more than 250,000 hunters and anglers across the state. Award-winning host Chris Lawrence has been tracking down hunting and fishing stories for more than 25 years.
Went in behind a little birch tree and head. I reached down and got the bow positioned and found its horns and dropped down and shot it in the neck.
Whether it's hunting and fishing news,
it tracks the roll super well, but not with a 60-pound carp tied to the side.
Or just compelling stories about the enjoyment of the great outdoors.
How close did you let him get in before you let fly on him?
He was about 18 yards, Chris. He got turned in the right angle there, and I touched off the trigger. And when I hit him, he ran kind of up the hill, which scared me at first.
West Virginia Outdoors covers it all. Saturday mornings at 7:06 a.m. And for your daily fix, Outdoors Today brings you 2.5 minutes of news and notes from the woods and water every weekday morning. No one covers the great outdoors like Chris Lawrence. And Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You can watch a video cast of our show every morning on Facebook Live or on our website. Plus, check archives of all of our videos on the Watchdog YouTube channel. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
We'll get a little political in a minute or two. We're going to talk about Andrew Cuomo a bit. I don't see any way that man can stay in office following the New York Attorney General's report. I do want to draw a contrast later on between Cuomo and Al Franken, who was driven out of office without any report or investigation. I'll draw that comparison later on. We'll talk about what might happen to Cuomo. That's coming up in a bit. And in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk with the author of a series of children's books. The books are called the A to Z Mysteries. They've sold 10 million copies. They're very popular books among children. I love those mystery books when I was a kid. We're going to talk to the author of that and a producer of a podcast with him. They do a podcast for children about children's books, and I think it's interesting, a podcast for kids. So we're going to talk to them about that, kind of a lighter side of life story. But right now, let's talk about what was not a lighter side. It was a pretty rough side for an hour or so last night, Zach Petty. Man, did those storms come rolling through.
Oh, yeah, they came kicking and scratching, but they came in through our neck of the woods. But if you traveled farther north of I-70, not an ounce or trace of rain. One of the issues whenever we talk about those convective pop-ups or scattered showers in the summertime, they can pop up and hover around for as long as Mother Nature wants them to.
It is amazing, how localized sometimes this stuff can be, or regionalized at least it can be.
Right.
It didn't seem like the storm was that long. I mean, it was maybe an hour. Biff said an hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
The lightning was unbelievably intense. The thunder was just, shaking the house and the windows. But boy, it left behind a lot of water in that briefer period of time.
Yeah, we even got, like you were saying, the lot of water, short period of time, flash flood warning in throughout eastern Belmont, Ohio County, and northern Marshall County. Just all in all, just a decent gully washer. Like within an hour and a half, numerous bouts of lightning. I think that storm even registered close to 60 lightning flashes within that hour. So a decent bit of power. Decent punch that it packed. There we go. Still struggling for words this morning.
Yeah, it was, and I know it was sort of predicted, but it sort of came on us all of a sudden. It was like I was looking outside. I think I was watching TV or something. All of a sudden I looked and said, "Man, it's getting dark out there." And then suddenly the lightning started, and it was just. I from watching your station, looked like we had a couple of areas here in Wheeling that got some good mini flooding, including out here in the Elm Grove section, according to one video I saw on WTRF. Although I didn't realize we had it out here. So some people got we lost power at the radio station for a while, but it came back on quickly.
Yeah, I think Lou Vargo, emergency management coordinator, was sending us images and giving us details and fact finding for, again, because at least in terms of Doc's perspective, we're looking at this on the radar saying, oh, wow, what's going on? And we have to hope and help that we get viewer content sent in to us, and we send our reporters out, and, of course, try to keep everyone safe in terms of, flash flood warning. We had the creeks and riverbanks starting to rise over the flood levels, as well as the possibility for some downed trees and everything. So definitely continue to monitor systems. But, it was definitely packing a punch. Luckily, none of that is expected for today, even though we're not fully out of the woods for rain for your Friday Eve.
Excuse me, sorry. Your forecast today sounds a lot like yesterday's. Mixture of sun and clouds, maybe a little more sun than clouds, scattered showers in the evening, which is kind of the forecast you had yesterday. But hopefully those scattered showers are not going to be quite as intense. Is that right?
Yeah, we have the reason we've had rain the last 3 days. Now, not so much rain here at home. If you live in the immediate Wheeling area, we got a decent gully washer yesterday, but there were still scattered showers on Tuesday, even down into Tyler, Wetzel County, so New Martinsville, Middleburn, even southeastern Marshall County. They were saying, hey, now is your turn to get some rain, whereas areas up north in the Hancock Brook, Jefferson, and Harrison County, they're all saying, we need the rain. We want your rain. We want your rain. You should have pushed it up north for us. Well, I think we're going to continue on the trend for areas south of I-70, Belmont, Ohio, Marshall, Monroe, Tyler, Wetzel, having the best chance scenario for a stray shower to develop late in the day, an isolated thunderstorm still possible. I think in terms of coverage or intensity, it should be much less. There's weak high pressure building into our west, so that's what's going to keep the air a little bit more stable in terms of not allowing anything to grow, develop, or to pack a real punch. If anything, it's going to be very isolated. Not everyone will see rain, especially the farther north you travel of I-70, and all in all, a pretty improved forecast even extending into your finally Friday.
And the weekend, primarily we'll look at temperatures rising and the muggy level rising. We'll talk about rain in a second, but basically it's going to get warmer and muggier over the weekend, right?
Oh yeah, we'll get those thermometers cranking up into the mid to upper 80s. Muggy levels will be back in the uncomfortable and unpleasant category. I'm not looking forward to that. I hope everyone in the Ohio Valley was able to enjoy the pleasant and comfortable weather that we had almost from after cleaning up from Thursday's mess, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Even yesterday wasn't too bad in terms of muggy levels. It was still comfortable, but it's starting to feel a bit more muggy as you head further along throughout this work week.
Now, let's talk about Saturday, the Chili Fest Day. You are expecting some rain, but it will be isolated. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, so I'm continuing to drop chances for rain just because we have that high pressure building in, Howard, and not to get too scientific for you or to not get too nerdy in my terms of my field of work, but you have high pressure building in, and we're still trying to spawn off a few showers, so that's why it's going to be very isolated in nature. Not everyone will see rainfall. I expect it to still develop possibly late in the afternoon, early evening, your typical summertime pop-up. So something we're going to continue to monitor, of course, here in the Storm Tracker 7 Weather Lab. But I think coverage is going to be pretty sparse. Again, it might be one of those best-case scenarios. Farther south you go by 70, better chance for rain. Farther north, the drier you might be. But I expect it to be very scattered in nature. It's not going to be one of those all-day rain events. It's not going to be a washout. Most of the day for your chili cook-off should be okay. But still, if you're heading out and about as of now, maybe just plan to bring the umbrella just to carry it around in case a stray shower does develop, you know?
And as we're looking long-term or longer-term, by that I mean into next week, the heat really cranks up come Monday, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll be flirting with 90 degrees Sunday, Monday, even extending on into Wednesday. But the other thing, too, that we'll notice is the oppressively muggy conditions will return. Tropical moisture values will be back. So dew points will be up in the 70s. That's when it's just downright disgusting. I don't like to be outside when it's that muggy outside, let alone anyone who has probably a hard time breathing or respiratory illness. I don't know. I don't think it's scientifically proven, but just you notice it's harder to breathe whenever the air is sticky and muggy and heavy like that. So just plan accordingly next week. Stay hydrated. But with that high heat, with the high mugginess, will also come the chance for some pop-up showers and thunderstorms starting to develop Monday through Wednesday afternoon.
All right, Zach, sounds good. Not too bad a forecast. Might see some rain today, later on today, but all in all, okay. And sun and clouds mix, a little more sun than clouds, so I like the sound of that. Up to, what are we getting today? 80, 83, your predicted high for today.
Yep.
Right now, the last I checked, 50, right around 60. I'll call it 60. 59 at the airport, 61 here, so I'll split the difference. About 60 degrees, and still a little foggy outside as well.
Yep. All thanks to those pesky rain showers. Keyword being scattered, but again, as nonetheless, we needed a nice rain, and it was lucky and happy to at least get it over towards the airport area. It seems like there's a decent bit of farms farther north of Ohio County, from what I gather, I think. I could be totally wrong, though.
All right, sir. I appreciate your time this morning. We'll talk to you again tomorrow for the Friday wrap-up.
All right, sounds good, sir. Have a good rest of your day now.
All right, you too. Zach Petty from the Big 7, WTRF TV, morning meteorologist. Check him out at 5 and 6 o'clock in the hour-long newscasts on TV. 6 o'clock, of course, we carry it here, so if you're driving to work between 6 and 7, you can catch the WTRF TV 7 news right here. The news at noon, live from the anchor desk of WTRF and the Weather Center. So Zach is there at noon, and then Dr. Dave in the evening, where we bring you the 5 to 6 o'clock hour of news live on the radio. So, as always, if you can't be near a TV as you're driving to work, perhaps early morning or the middle of your workday or on your way home, can't get close to a television, catch all of the TV7 news right here on the radio, 6 to 7 o'clock right before this show, 12 o'clock, about 15 minutes of headlines from the Big 7 right before the Bill DeFabio Variety Show. And then after Bill and after Dave Weekly at 5 o'clock, you get half hour of local news, 5 to 5:30. Mark Curtis and the statewide newscast, 5:30 until 6. So you got lots of ways to stay on top of the news direct from WTRF TV, your Ohio Valley local news source. All right, 8 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Biff?
We are good.
Okay. Every morning I ask the question. Biff usually has us under control, but sometimes I have a few lingering commercials to get to, so I always like to double check with Biff. 7 before the hour right now here on the Watchdog Morning Show. What's going to happen to Andrew Cuomo? The governor of New York, you talk about a quick fall, Biffy. Earlier in the year or late last year, Andrew Cuomo was being considered as maybe a potential top runner for the next presidential election for Democrats. And then came some sexual harassment allegations that kind of tempered those conversations. Also, things didn't go quite as well as they thought in New York, got tempered. And then last week, the New York Attorney General completed a 162-page investigation into sexual harassment claims against Andrew Cuomo, and they have come from multiple women who said that he harassed them, including one who was a state police officer. They said that he would caress their buttocks from time to time and love to give them a kiss on the cheek or stroke their face or things of that nature. Some of the testimony, which you could read in the report, was, Biffy, I got to tell you, kind of like, very icky to me. Cuomo says, hey, I'm a passionate guy. I'm Italian. I use my hands. This is not unusual. I think he even showed some pictures of himself kissing men, like, pecking them on the cheek. He says, it's just the way I show affection. But I think it's 11. I could be wrong. I think there were 11 women in that report. And it was quite well investigated by the New York Attorney General. And she said, this is a civil report I'm preparing, but she also said, I think we could see criminal charges if someone wanted to bring criminal charges. So what's going to happen to Andrew Cuomo? I mean, everybody's calling for his resignation from office. From the president to multiple Democrats on Capitol Hill. Yesterday, a majority of the New York State Assembly backed either his resignation or, if not, they say they might want to impeach him. He has said so far he's not going to resign, but Biffy, you know how that goes. They say it a lot, and then eventually they have to throw in the towel.
I don't think Cuomo, though, is going to throw in the towel. I think they're going to have to go.
You might be right.
I think they're going to have to go more the impeachment route than the resignation route.
You think he'd go kicking and screaming, huh?
Well, I think he is for sure. I think he's going kicking and screaming, and I think the impeachment route is going to be the way to go rather than the resignation route.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83.
I'm back. I went yellow there for a minute.
Strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
You can vote in our Watchdog poll and read commentary in our blogs on watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
I think Cuomo must have been listening, Biff.
He may have. Who knows?
I don't want that guy talking about my resignation. I'm going to pull the pin on him there. So we had a little snafu there for a second. Some folks have said to me, why am I so quick? Howard, you're a Democrat. Why are you so quick to want to get rid of Cuomo? You know, I think that remember Al Franken, the comedian turned U.S. Senator, and I thought he was an absolutely wonderful U.S. Senator. And in fact, I thought Al Franken had real serious potential as a presidential candidate. I was saying this to a friend of mine yesterday. I said, oh my God, he was just a comedian. No, he was a tremendously smart guy. And if you ever watch some of Al Franken's questioning when he was a senator on some of these committees, he had his facts right. He was able to really hold people to the fire. I thought Al Franken was a tremendous senator. And he was just driven out without any kind of investigation, there was a picture that showed up, and the woman involved in the picture said, I didn't feel quite right. He said, come on, I'm a comedian. It was a comedic thing. And he was that was it. That was it. He was done. He was gone. Get him out of there. And he resigned because of the pressure from his own party. Huge difference there. I think Franken was driven from office inappropriately. I think he was shafted. But Cuomo now, and I said when the allegations first came out with Cuomo, we got to wait. We need to see what kind of facts there are to back this up. Now there are facts to back it up. Now there's a 162-page Attorney General's investigation with multiple women making claims against him. There are some contemporaneous reports. Some of these women told other people right at the time. Some of them reported it to other members of his staff. So there are others who heard these rumors. That's a big difference than Al Franken, who was just thrown out after a couple of pictures showed up on media, and they were easily explained, in my opinion. Cuomo's got to go. He's got to go. And look, there's no charges filed yet. I suspect there will be. I do suspect there may be charges filed. But unfortunately, he's got to go. The report is too damning. It's too much of a drain on the party now, so it's time for Cuomo to resign. Biff, I'm with you, though. I don't think he will, which means I don't know what happens next. I do know that ABC News is next. That's what's happening right here on the Watchdog.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Around the world and across the country.
All right, Biff, we should have an 810 radio row. Let me pull my notes up here. I believe it's going to be 2 people. I'm assuming they'll be on the same phone line, but I want to get their names here because I want you to double check and make sure that I have the right names. All right, where did I put this? All right, Howard, come on. You got to find it. Okay, where did I put it? Oh, here it is over here. Okay, it should be Ron, Roy, and Maggie McGuire. So just make sure it's those people. If it is, just tell me when they're on the line. If it's somebody else, be sure and text me so I know who it is. But it should be Ron, Roy, and Maggie McGuire. They should call us at 8:10. It's a 10-minute radio row, so we'll get them in, get them out. Okay, thank you. And I gather you, since we're back on the air, I gather you've actually got the transmitter turned back on, right? Yep, okay, good. Wonder what happened there.